What can I say? Top billing. Welcome to another episode of Sources Chillin'. I'm your host, Source, of course. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Source, of course. On both of those, you can follow my sports group on Facebook, which is the Sports Bar Podcast, the SBP. Over 3,000 members. And you can follow me here because I pull up every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the Sports Fluent channel. What up, though? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling today? I'm feeling good, feeling great. It's been a good week thus far. Been a good week. I missed last week. I just said that I'm here every week. It's a lie because I wasn't here last week, but it was for a good reason. I was taking my youngest daughter, my wife and I were taking our youngest daughter back to college. So we were on the road again. And actually, on Wednesday night, we were probably at dinner or Target, one or the other, because, gotta get the same stuff we bought last year and the year before again, but different. So it's just a constant buying of the same things. But because she is so far away and she doesn't have a car herself, she can actually hop on the bus. And I think one of her housemates has a car this year, but normally she doesn't have her own transportation to get back and forth to a store, and the stores aren't like down the street. So it is what it is. Unfortunately and fortunately, it is what it is. But the baby girl is a senior in college, man. My, how the time flies. Getting old again. I just sang on the road again. Now I'm thinking getting old again because, geez, I have a daughter that did 3 years after college, 3 years after her bachelor's, and I have another daughter that is a senior in college. That's crazy. Yeah. Time don't play, boy. Time don't play. Time be timing. Does time? Is timing a thing? Time be timing. Cause I feel good. I feel great. I feel spry. You gotta say spry when you get to a certain age because that means you feel a little younger and more active than people around your same age. But I feel good, feel great, and I'm excited for them and them getting into their adult lives. And I'm here to see it. I'm here to see it, the fruition. Here to see it through fruition. So I'm proud of them. I talk about them every week. I think I feel like I talk about my daughters every week on this joint. But anyway, so I missed last week. That's why. So it was for a legitimate reason, and yeah. But now we back for another week, and we are another week closer to the NFL season kicking off. Woo-wee. Are y'all ready? I feel like I'm not ready. I'm usually more prepared for the NFL season than I feel like I am this year. The I haven't watched, so I don't watch preseason football. I mean, I will if it's on and there's nothing else going on, but I don't really care to see people that are not going to be on the team playing a lot. I'm not looking to see if the third round, fourth round pick makes two tackles in a quarter of a preseason game. I'm sorry, I'm not here for it. Now, last season, my wife surprised me with a trip to an Eagles preseason game. Oh, that's different because we got in the car, we went up to Philly, we stayed overnight, went to the Eagles. They played against the Colts. I saw Anthony Richardson in person, and the Eagles, of course, my squad. Had a good time. It was a good experience. I enjoyed it, and I was able to drink a couple beers while I was there because we were staying and we didn't drive. We took the train down from the hotel to the field to the area. It's a whole area in Philly. It's a whole area where the sports complexes are. So you have the hockey facility, the football facility, the basketball facility, the baseball facility, all in the same area. It's dope. It's dope. It's got bars and restaurants. Like, yeah, that's one thing that even though I really wouldn't necessarily want to live in a big city, I mean, I live in the capital of my state, but I'm saying not big city, but in a busier city. I don't know if I want to live like in the heart of a busier city, but throughout my life, I've wanted to have a professional sports team in my town, and we've had a AAA baseball team. We now have a AA baseball team. We had a we had a not WNBA, but what was the other league called? ABL? I think it was ABL. We had the Richmond Rage here at one time. They didn't stay very long. Then they moved up to Philadelphia and won the championship. I was like, dang, they just kicked us to the curb. Well, we didn't support them. That's the thing. We didn't support them. Oakland, yeah, we didn't support them enough for them to stay, so they ended up moving away. And then they, like I said, go to Philly, win a championship. That league eventually dissolves, and those players go to the W. But yeah, yeah, I've always wanted to be in a town where there was a professional team. Actually, when I don't know, maybe between 7 and 10 years ago, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. My youngest daughter and my wife had a cheer competition. So my oldest daughter and I went to support. But when we got down there, I realized that the Charlotte Hornets were playing that Friday night. And I called up a friend who was connected with some people. She ended up being able to get 2 tickets for us. I mean, we had to pay for them, but we ended up getting 2 tickets, solid seats, and my daughter and I, watched the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and whomever else was on the team at the time, against the Charlotte Hornets. It was a good time. Kemba Walker, I think Jeremy Lin was there. Uh, on one of the teams. He was on one of the teams. I can't even remember what team he was on. Hey, don't talk to me about teams leaving. Come on now. You still got teams. You still got teams for now. For now. You might have to go across the bay to support the nearby Golden State Warriors. But that's another story. That's another story. But yeah, so my daughter and I went to the basketball game. We walked back to the hotel, did our cheer stuff on Saturday. And then that Sunday was the NFL divisional round when who played? Who did Carolina play? Seattle, maybe? No, you know what? We went to the basketball game on Saturday night. Friday's when we got there, got the tickets, went to the game Saturday night. I just remember because an NFL playoff game was on while we were at the game. And my oldest daughter is a Green Bay Packers fan. So I remember that. And then Sunday, it was Seattle and Carolina. And we went to the tailgate. When you're in a city with professional teams, yeah, Cam Newton. When you're in a city with professional teams, it's up. It's up. But for us, it's not something that we experience normally. So we walked with a bunch, it's lots of people walking towards the stadium down these busy streets. Uh, Went over, hung out before the game, tailgated, had a ball. even though neither of us cared about either team, but just the experience of being in the atmosphere was dope. So we had a good time, and we still got to come back and see my daughter's team, well, her sister, my youngest daughter's team perform later that afternoon. So yeah, it was a good weekend all the way around. Had a good time. But yeah, being in a city with professional teams. If any of you are in a city with professional sports teams, I hope you don't take it for granted. I hope you like it, and I hope you don't take it for granted. I know it makes the city, busier, more traffic, and all that, but from somebody that doesn't live in a city with major teams, major sports teams, yeah, I envy you a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. We're gonna talk about Cam in a minute, but actually, you know what? Hold on one second. Let me see. Excuse me. The family chat is jumping. The family chat is jumping. So, anyway, I this week I've been posting a question in the morning on TikTok related to hip hop, of course, and I'm doing every decade basically. Monday's question was, well, and it's the same question for each decade. Each decade, basically, I'm asking, what is the first album you think of when you hear this phrase? First phrase was 1980s rap. That was Monday. Tuesday was 1990s rap. Today, Wednesday, was 2000, early 2000s rap. So I specified between 2000 and 2009. Tomorrow will be 2010 through 2019, and then Friday will be 2020 and beyond. It's been very interesting. A lot of comments. Uh, a good, I shouldn't say a lot. A good number of comments, though. A good number of comments and opinions, and all your favorites are mixed in there. So if you haven't commented on any of those as of yet, feel free to hop over to TikTok after this show, and drop your comment in there. I posted the first one Monday on Instagram as well. But I realized something. Well, in my mind, I thought something anyway. I was like, I can't move on Instagram like I move on TikTok because I've already got two videos that are hip hop specific. Like one is legit viral, I think. It's over 2 million views. The other one is like near maybe between 150 and 200,000 views. I don't know, somewhere in that area. Just on Instagram. So I feel like my face is a lot of places, which is cool. That's fine, but I don't wanna overdo it on that particular platform. So I just posted the one on Monday. I haven't posted the '90s question or the 2000 question on that platform. But on TikTok, it don't matter. They already know what it is. They know what time it is. So I guess I guess I'll get around to posting other stuff on Instagram eventually. It's no rush though. But I did want to make sure that I kept this particular week as going through the decades, Monday through Friday, and covering from the beginning of hip hop albums being a thing, which is 1980, through 2024. So we'll get to that by Friday, and hopefully the participation continues from the people who follow the page and the people who don't follow the page who just have seen it on their FYP or wherever they may have seen it. Let's see what else we got. See what else we got. That wasn't even supposed to be a topic, actually. That wasn't even a topic for today. Have you heard 2010? Nah, tapped out. Still been talking since they moved on from Monte. Even how you get the best shooter of all time and be salty that they moved on from Monte? Oh, let me. You know what? Let's start with the Cam Newton thing, though. Let's start with the Cam Newton thing, since I did mention Cam Newton, and I really don't care to talk NFL that much at this point because it's still a week away from the season, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it by the end of the show. But for now, let's talk about something that I haven't seen in full. I've only seen uh, clips of. There is a woman by the name of Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I don't know what is going on. I don't know where she came from. She is a 41-year-old psychologist, maybe. And I've seen her sitting down with Cam Newton and Nick Cannon on different in different clips. And there's an interesting conversation that's being had because she's not like she takes no prisoners in any way, shape, or form. She is pretty direct and raw with her commentary on these gentlemen or just on relationships. And I'm watching Cam Newton, and now I haven't watched either show in full. I haven't watched either show in full, and I'm not sure I want to watch either show in full. But I've been watching Cam Newton. Also, I saw Cam Newton on uh, Nightcap on Ocho because Nightcap was doing they're in the middle of doing live shows. They did a live excuse me, they did a live show in Atlanta and Cam was a guest. So I've seen a lot of Cam Newton in the last couple of days. But just watching Cam Newton and Nick Cannon kind of squirm. Like, it's funny because you can tell that they have been around women who have let them say whatever and they feel like they can outsmart, outmaneuver the person. This lady, you can't outmaneuver this lady. Chico, I see you. You can't outmaneuver this lady. This lady's smart, and I mean, this is what she does in her field. It was wild. Here's the thing: there's lots of videos out there of people, giving their take on the show or the clips or whatever with the lady and these two gentlemen, Cam and Nick Cannon. I can see it already, though. Even though the people are pro Dr. Bryant right now, and I'm pro Dr. Bryant because I like the fact that she's being straight with them and not letting them maneuver their ways out of conversations or things that they've done in the past, including leaving leaving broken homes behind, even though it seemed like neither of them understood the fact that even though you pay money and see your child, it's still a broken home. Like it's still not a two-parent home, which is the expectation or has been the expectation since forever as the norm. So, but neither of them seem to get it because they spend time with their children and they have money. It was interesting. And again, I only saw clips of these two shows. But I can see that even though the people are on this lady's side right now, if she becomes more popular based on these interviews, they are going to turn on her. I can see it. I can see it clear as day. It is going to happen. It's going to happen. One, because she's a black woman, off rip. Like, you already know. They ain't gonna let her rock for so long. And be opinionated? Yeah. Two, because she's single with no kids. So they're gonna act like her being single with no kids is some type of, you know, mark against her. Three, because she's actually smart. Like, the stuff she says is smart. But you could see people trying to trying to take what she's saying as if because she doesn't have children or a husband, it devalues what she said. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. But I know it's going to happen because, you know, people. So I'm just, I'm not in a rush for it to happen, but it's going to happen. All that said, Cam Newton, Nick Cannon, and I will throw in Tyrese Gibson as well because I actually, while I was working earlier today, I was listening to Uncle Shay, Shannon Sharp again, on his show. What is it called? Whatever the interview show is called. I always forget the name of the interview show. But he sat down with Tyrese, and yeah, if you here's my take from it. If you let someone talk long enough, they will give themselves away. If you let somebody talk long enough and something ain't right with them, they'll give themselves away. That's the case for each of these situations. I don't dislike either of the gentlemen, any of the three, Tyrese, Nick Cannon, Cam Newton. Don't dislike any of them, but I can see how somebody might not like them. I can see it because for different reasons. Cam is Cam. He's gonna be Cam. He's not afraid to be himself. I mean, he's a giant who is tough and not afraid to fight you. Super athletic, but he's a giant with a big personality, and he does not care. He's not gonna uh, filter himself but so much for anybody. Nick Cannon, he's got the world on a string, and the ladies apparently on a string with all them kids. Tyrese, although Tyrese, in the midst of his ramblings, he was dropping some things that I would consider gems. But, in my opinion, he be lying. Like, I just feel like half the stuff he says is not true. I feel like half the stuff he says is not true. And it's about his own life, so how would I know? But just listening to him talk, it just seems like lies. So I could see how someone would say that. All in all, I should really consider, do I want to? Do I really want to watch? I'm trying to decide if I want to consider watching the Dr. Bryant interviews in full. Because actually, last night I ended up seeing a longer clip of her and Nick Cannon. And even when Nick Cannon knew he was wrong, he tried to flip it, but then he'd accept it. But then he still tried to flip it, you know? And you can tell when people are used to doing that just in life in general. Again, these people are much more successful than me, way more. What is that about? That Marvin Gaye cosplay from Tyrese. Wow, hey, it's a lifestyle. And I don't know if it has to do with the movie that he's doing, or that he's done, the movie that I guess it debuts pretty soon, 1992, about the Watts riots. Well, the LA riots, I should say. Um, But you know who they should have contacted about the riots. My man, Aaron Showtime Taylor. Anybody that's been around my TikTok page for a couple years knows Aaron Showtime Taylor. He is the gentleman that, like, man, that man's he was locked up for 30, close to 30 years, between 25 and 30 years. He was in San Quentin when the Warriors used to come there and play against the inmates. Well, some Warriors players and coaches used to play against the inmates. He was an announcer for the games when they were in prison. And then when he got out, the Warriors contacted him, brought him to a Warriors game, and let him be the PA guy for a Warriors game. It was on ESPN, CNN, like it was everywhere. He was on Kelly Clarkson. He's been all over the place, and he was in the movie that was on Netflix called Cue Ball, which was actually about the Warriors coming to San Quentin and playing against the inmates. Yeah, he was everywhere. MSNBC, like he was all over the place. That's who they should have contacted about the riots because the reason he was locked up is because he committed a robbery not long after the riots. But he is on film. He is on video talking at the riots, like with people around, and he's an orator in that moment. Story is it's him on the Chronic before Little Ghetto Boy. I think it's before Little Ghetto Boy. That's the story I know. That's the story he told me, and I've seen the video. Looks like him. I don't have any reason to not believe him. Oh, you went to the charity hoop game? Come on. Yeah, but what he did, just full transparency, he tried to rob a furniture store, jewelry store, furniture store, jewelry store. I can't remember which one. Yeah, but I think he had a shotgun. Or he got shot with a shotgun. Yeah, he did, and he tried armed robbery, and he got shot. And that man said after he got shot, when he came to, one of the guys from the store, which is the one that shot him, was standing over top of him with the shotgun pointed at him. And the other guy, you know, kind of told him, don't do it or whatever the case was. And that man went to jail for no, not on live. No, that's no. It's multiple situations. I'm just rambling about him in general, but it was multiple situations. The riot video of him speaking during the riot, and then separate situation him trying to rob a store and getting shot, and then going to prison for I think it was 27 years. I think it was 27 years. Yeah, quite a life, quite a life. Now I'm sure he would trade it in if he could get those 27 years back, or at least part of that back. But I mean, that's his story. That's his story, and he's still out here living it. But I said all that. I was talking about the riots, the LA riots, and Tyrese. You know, and he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot. I'm sure all these. I mean, Tyrese, Nick Cannon, and Cam have all been through a lot in their own way. But watching this lady kind of destroy Cam and Nick anyway, it felt like they probably need this. They probably need somebody like this. And I'm sure in my mind Cam's like not gonna take that with him. He's not gonna take that lady's uh words approach with him. I don't think. I think he's gonna be like, she don't know. I'm right. She wrong. Nick, it might have hit him in a moment, but he's still gonna have 87 kids. Might have 87 more. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I really, the more I talk about it, the more I might have to just sit down and watch the interviews and see what really happened between Dr. Bryant and Cam, and then Dr. Bryant and Nick. Because the parts that I've seen have been, at the very least, interesting to watch, entertaining. So they're too far gone? Possibly, possibly. I don't know. Did Too Far Gone? Uh, he had to have priors to get 27 years. Armed robbery in 1993 ish, 92, 93. I don't know. I don't know. Why the women getting off easy though? What you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't want to make up an answer if it's not the real question that you're asking. Speaking of not letting people off the hook or blowing something out of proportion, have you seen the Keith Lee saga this time around? For those who don't know, Keith Lee is a uh, TikTok famous food food not food critic, but he goes to restaurants, eats food, and talks about it. He's not a food critic because he's, well, I guess he is a food critic. He's just not a he didn't go to school for culinary arts, but he became famous because he'd go to restaurants that were having a hard time. He'd try the food. If he liked it, he'd do a video. Well, even if he didn't like it, he'd do a video about the restaurant. And a lot of these restaurants that he's visited have blown up, like lines out the door the day after he posts a video. Pseudo food critic, that's fair. That's fair. He definitely was a UFC fighter previously. And he was still, he was still training. From what I remember when I first learned of him, he was still training. He was probably part of his life, so he probably still trained one way or the other. But the food critic thing has taken off. He's legit saved so many businesses. But it has come to a point where he is so popular that he gets a lot of backlash. So he's done food tours. He's done tours in different cities. And he always says, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm gonna be honest about it. Whatever happens, I'll be honest about my experience. He went to Atlanta, had a really bad time. A really bad time. And I guess the quality of the service and maybe the food wasn't up to his expectations. And Atlanta looked crazy. Remember that? Yeah, Atlanta looked crazy. But then people would start to get mad about him and saying stuff like it's all good when he's saying something positive or saving a restaurant. But if he doesn't like something, oh, he ain't no real food critic, and oh, he doesn't have a diverse palate. How can he be it turns into all that. So when you're being good to the people or something positive happens for the people, you're the greatest. If you say something that you feel is true and it's not positive, then the people hate you. So that happened in Atlanta. I don't remember what happened in Houston. I feel like he had a decent time in Houston, but I don't remember the details. But he was just in the DC area, which I messaged him previously. I told him he need to come to Richmond and catch the Richmond Black Restaurant Week that we have here, Richmond Black Restaurant Experience, which was created by 3 Black women in the city, and it's dope. It's a dope week every year in like March in Richmond. But he went to DC and he went to Baltimore apparently. Had good food, good time in Baltimore, but DC, it got to a point where he said he wasn't going to make any more videos because he didn't feel it was going to be constructive. Because one place, uh, he has apparently he doesn't like fish, and I think he has shellfish allergies. And they cooked the food in the same grease as they cooked the shellfish in. And he asked them about it, and they said grease is grease. That was crazy off top. When I heard him say that, I was like, oh, they trying to kill somebody. They trying to legit kill somebody out here. But even after that, he said in the same video, he said, and he didn't say where it was, he just said that. Then in the same video, he was talking about a lady taking money from him, no gloves, same hands, picking up fruit and food that she was serving to them. And then I believe it was a place, I don't know if it was that place or a different one, that didn't have running water. It may have been a food truck, but it didn't have running water, which meant how you washing your hands with no running water. The people in DC are fighting back. And the people in DC, the people outside of DC, people are fighting back. They are angry. He ain't he ain't nobody, he ain't no real food critic. He don't, he barely can eat food. Well, they can't serve macaroni everywhere. But it's a lot of it's crazy. Crazy, a lot of negativity. And one dude even said Keith Lee can't come back to the city. He just don't know it. He can't come back to the city. He can't come back to DC. I was like, bruh, did you really make a video saying somebody can't come back to a city because they gave their opinion on restaurants and it wasn't positive? You thought you were going to get on the internet and be like, yeah, I'm standing up for the city. So you want to ban somebody from a city because they didn't like the food at the restaurants that they went to. Not only did they not like the food, it wasn't up to expectations from a restaurant. People are crazy, bro. People are crazy. People are crazy. Yeah, why? So it's so many videos. It was like every time I would look at something different, just scrolling social media, this topic would just keep coming back. Keith Lee. Oh, Keith Lee. Okay, he's positive videos, negative videos. It's crazy. I'm like, wow. Wow. It's a lot. But it's Keith Lee's fault because he ain't come to Richmond. That's all it was. If he'd have came to Richmond, he wouldn't have had them problems. All he had to do was hit me up. I had him straight. I would have got him straight. I would have had him straight with the best spots, the mom and pop spots that could use some publicity. Yeah, it would have been on and popping. But no, he want to stay in D.C. and go to Baltimore. All right. See, this is what happens. This is what happens. Anyway, so we'll see what's next with the Keith Lee saga. The other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he said he was still in D.C. So he hadn't left yet. Maybe there's still a chance he makes it to Richmond. I don't know. But if he does, I got a list of spots for him to hit up, and he will change their lives for real. But that's how powerful his word has been, and his movement has been on social media up to this point. I mean, that man been on national news and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's way more popular. Not that one has anything to do with the other. Way more popular as a food critic than as a UFC fighter, and I'm sure it pays more too, and it's safer, unless he goes back to DC because they thugging it out. But yeah, people want to show up when it's like, and I know people always say black people this, black people that. It's people in general. It's people. It's like you get to this point, if you get too high, they got to bring you back down. They got to bring you back down. They can't just let you be. You can't just sit on the throne. Nah, you got to come back to the people. I'm sure somebody would say crabs in a barrel, crabs in a bucket. I had a song called Crabs in a Barrel, actually, about this topic. Me, Legacy from Justice League, Little Brother and all them. And then Trek Life from out in Cali. I should download that song and play it once or twice when I DJ. Speaking of DJing, I will be DJing outside, y'all, on Saturday. My local barbershop, my man Reg, got me coming out for his Labor Day cookout, having a Labor Day cookout Saturday afternoon, and I will be on the wheels or on the controller, mixing it up, zugga zugga and all that. So I think it's time. I think I'm being pushed into the public spotlight a little bit. And the following Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, I will be down at my guy Noah O, who I've had on the show before. Not on the show, but on TikTok. I've interviewed him live on TikTok, and I had him on Source and Company for an interview as well. He has a store, a clothing store, a charged up clothing store down in the city, in the downtown part of the city, and it'll be first Fridays next week, first Friday of the month. And usually they have a lot of stores open late, and the doors are open, and people are up and down the streets, and I will be on the wheels outside or inside of the charged up store. So look at me go, y'all. Look at me go. I'm out here. I'm out here in these DJ streets. Oh, have y'all seen? let me show you the picture. Actually, I'll show you the picture. You can tell me if you've seen this lady. Have y'all seen this lady? Who is she? Laura somebody. She for some reason she made a video supposedly, I guess, mocking Kamala Harris, and the screen says Kamala Harris talking to a black crowd. And this lady is like using this weird accent and talking about peanut butter sandwiches. And it's very odd. It's a very odd video. So she's being racist. But the thing is, how how badly do you want to go viral? Like, and do you want to go viral for anything? Just anything? Because this lady is getting ate up at this point. And I know people have contacted her. I don't know if it was her employer or a business that she works with, but I've seen some commentary about that. And she took down the video, but it's too late. Listen, one, everything ain't for everybody. If that's how you feel it in your soul. Do you really want to ruin your life just to say something negative about a presidential candidate? We're not going back, right? We're not going backwards. I guess she didn't know. I guess she didn't know. People find out the hard way that you can't just say anything. You can't just say anything, especially when it's racist or racially motivated or just unnecessarily attacking someone. And this is that experience firsthand. Ah, man. I be feeling sorry for the people a little bit. I feel sorry for the people a little bit. I'm 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 a little too empathetic. I'm too empathetic. Derek Chauvin, as far as I know, terrible guy. The fact that he got stabbed, you know, not too long ago, stabbed up. Not that I'm like, oh, I'm so sad for him, but jeez, jeez, just in theory, just in theory, but just every moment after you do something super wild, and obviously it's a big difference between this lady and Derek Chauvin, but every moment after you do something wild on purpose in public on social media, you got to live with that. You could you could do something wild tomorrow, and it comes back to bite you, that next week. You could be going about your life 2 months after that, and all it takes is for someone to run across that video and be entertained by it or laugh at it or be disgusted by it, and they make a video about your video, and boom, you're back in the cycle again. That's all it takes for the rest of your life, yo. Life is hard already. You don't need to make it harder on yourself. I I hadn't thought about this guy, but remember the guy that was acting wild towards the black family, and he was like, "Well, come to my house," and he gave his address out or whatever, and then all the people showed up outside his house. I hadn't thought about him until this very moment, right now, as I'm talking about this. Wonder how he's doing. I wonder how he's doing. Oh man, gotta be cautious. I try to be cautious, and that's not why I'm like not a jerk to people generally speaking. I'm just it's just the way I am. But it makes me glad I am the way I am because it makes it a little bit easier to not have to be 100% conscious of what I'm doing because I know I'm not gonna be wilding anyway. I ain't gonna be wilding on a regular basis. Like everybody wilding every now and again, but they on a whole different level of wilding, a different level. One of the other reasons I don't show my face because I have wild takes. Yeah, well, oh yeah, yeah, I'll say something back. This, I ain't got no problem with that. Ain't no problem. But some stuff is OD. Some stuff is OD. Yeah, people get a little comfortable. I don't like people to get too comfortable, especially when I don't know them at all. Not even just know them on social media. I've never seen you before, and you pull up talking crazy. I'm like, why? What makes you think that that's gonna be okay? It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. But it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Last point. I think this is my last point. Let me see. Yeah, we'll say last point. Last point of the day. This is a two-part thing. One, have you ever seen this guy? This is nothing negative about this guy. I got nothing negative to say about this guy at all. Don't know him. I've only seen him once or twice. Don't know him. He raps. He raps. He does hip hop songs on the internet, lip syncs hip hop songs. I noticed a comment on his video. It was like at the top of the video, and that was what he stitched or what he did the reply back to. And it said something about inviting him to the barbecue. They didn't say cookout, they said to the barbecue. Chico said, "That's my boy." And you can't take the internet serious. The internet is very serious, though. The internet is real life. People try to act like the internet's not real life. People's lives get changed over the internet. People's lives get changed over the internet. And people act like it's not a real thing. So, that guy, no problem with that guy. I don't know that guy, nothing. I'm just saying the response to that guy was you're invited to the barbecue, the cookout, whatever. You know what happens when you invite people to the cookout? First of all, there is no cookout. There's no cookout. Hey, there is no cookout. You know what happens when you invite people to the cookout? They get comfortable. They get comfortable. And then you see something real about them. And you're looking like, oh man, I invited them to the cookout. Again, there is no cookout. But if there was, you can't invite everybody. This is 3 players from the Las Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby, who black people like from seeing him rapping songs, smoking cigars, you know, him and Devontae Adams wore the same outfit twice when Devontae was on the receiver show. They had on the same outfit. Like he seems like a cool guy. Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a picture of them and another player with the Republican presidential candidate. Black people like that guy. Y'all be giving people too much grace. I've said this before and I'll say it again. All you have to do for a black person to invite you into their space is dance on beat. All you have to do is dance on beat. Black people will be like, oh, come on in, you know. Black people want to bring other people, races, ethnicities, whatever, in. They want to bring them in because they're like looking at them. They cool. They want to be cool. It's like they want to be down. Black people want to bring them in. You don't even have to do a lot, and you don't have to do anything of any magnitude. Black people will be like, come on in. And then you get this. And then you get this. Don't be mad now. Don't be mad now. Y'all already opened the door to them. You already opened the door. But all you have to do is be able to dance on beat. People ain't like it when I said that a while ago. I've said it, this is probably the 3rd time saying it. But I made 2 videos previously. You don't have to do much. And that is a gift and a curse. It's a gift to be so inviting to other people that you want to see the best in them and think that they are on your side and bring them in. It is the curse when people show you who they are time and time again, and people that are similar show you who they are time and time again, and yet still with the open arms, come on in. Black people will forever be this way. It is part of the makeup, and it is to our own detriment a lot of times. A lot of times. You know who's saying that? Who's going to see it? Well, who doesn't want to see it but should see it? Black Trump supporters. They be out there. Them people don't even want your vote to count. And you out here talking about some blacks for Trump. What are you doing? What are you doing? I have never seen so many people so engaged in disrespecting. You know what? That's not even true. I can't even say that because it's not true. I'd be lying. I'd be lying. Anyway, it is what it is. We've got what, 3 months? November, what, September, October, November. Oh no, hold on. We've got a little more than 2 months until the election, until the world, or the United States anyway, implodes one way or the other. And yeah, so we're just gonna ride it out until then. We're just gonna ride it out until then. It's crazy, yo. It's crazy. But there, look, I'm saying but, trying to clean it up. There is no but. There is no but. It is what it is. Sometimes you just got to lay in it. Just got to, all right, you sexual deviants. Sometimes you just got to sit in the stew in it. How about that? Stew in it. We'll go with that. But yeah, open door policy to people who don't even care about your well being. It is what it is. And we're done here. I appreciate y'all pulling up, siding through, chopping it up. Appreciate the conversation, the people who had comments, and the people who just sat there and watched. I see y'all too. I don't see y'all, but I know you're there. But y'all be good, be great, be safe. I know they be wilding. I assume they be wilding, Chico. But y'all be good, man, and make sure you follow the page at Source of Course on TikTok and Instagram. I am Source, and we are